Well, let's bring in Kaveh Madani. He's a prominent environmental scientist, educator, and director of the UN's University Institute for Water, Environment, and Health. Boy, Kaveh, I don't even know where to begin. We heard what Donald Trump said. He called climate change the biggest con job. What does the science actually show us?
You don't even need science, I think. A lot of people in Europe and North America can today testify that what we're experiencing today is not what the experience we had when we were children. It doesn't snow as much in many places. Summers are much hotter. The buildings we have built many years ago cannot cope with this level of heat. That's the issue that many Europeans have faced. 2024 was the hottest year on record in recent history. So it no longer requires scientists in their labs to model and project. It's what we are experiencing around us today. I know President Trump said that climate change was made by stupid people, but those are the brightest scientists of the world, including those who work for the best universities of the world, many of which are in the United States. So this is a direct attack on science. It's not about climate change.
So what are the risks and dangers, Kaveh, when Donald Trump says things like this? When he says, when we're seeing every corner of the world dealing with extreme conditions in one form or the other, as you mentioned, but then he goes before a global audience and says things like that. I mean, how dangerous is that?
That podium is a very interesting podium. Many people have spoken there, many leaders of different countries, and why does it matter when President Trump says something? Because we have heard, I would say, more drastic and mind-blowing stuff from that podium when other people have spoken. But President Trump is an elected leader of a democratic country in the north. It's the wealthiest country, and he's a leader who is extremely powerful. It's a nation that is extremely powerful. And of course, we now need to get together and even cover it in the news. And a lot of scientists have to spend time writing articles debunking these statements, because he's the president of the United States. The decisions he make, the statements he make, not only would be relevant to his base that he wants, who he wants to please, but also relevant for the rest of the world. We already had many nations questioning, climate change and why they should join forces. Why should they change their development path? Why should they say no to fossil fuels and other forms of energy or other pathways of development that the rich countries have tested in the past? They were asking, they were calling on the rich nations to take action because they were accountable for what the current situation of the world. And now when the president of the United States says so there are more excuses for people not to join forces, not to be part of the negotiations, not to take serious actions on climate change. Yeah. Let's not forget that we have the climate change COP negotiations in November this year, and these statements can overshadow all those efforts.
Well, yeah, and that you bring me to my next question. With world leaders gathering at the United Nations in New York, then again at COP 30 in Brazil, what are the most urgent steps we need to take to slow climate change and protect so many vulnerable countries that are dealing with this? And at this point, with all the stuff that Donald Trump has said, are you concerned that those efforts are not really going to to go anywhere and strike any kind of breakthrough on such an important topic?
Of course, because we are in an unprecedented moment of modern history. The UN is under attack. Multilateralism is being attacked on a daily basis. We have unresolved conflicts around the world. International law has lost value. There are nations that can overrule things and ignore all those mechanisms that we have collectively designed and built to bring unity and peace to the world. The United Nations is being defunded and being questioned, and its legitimacy being questioned by these nations. A nation that is hosting the United Nations, of course, these efforts would weaken all those settings and would cause a serious deadlock and a blockage of a lot of things that were supposed to happen and the actions that we need to take. But, the actions are clear. We need to cut on emissions as soon as possible. But when these things happen, we think that now we have to do climate change 101 again and convince the general public in the United States and ask the scientists of the United States to work on educating the general public about the seriousness of climate change and this reality that the world is facing.
Well, we certainly appreciate scientists like yourself that inform us and educate us and can dissect fact from fiction. Kaveh Madani, thank you so much.